Hello and welcome to 30 Cuisines in 30 Days with me, your host, Tara from Coconuts. So glad to have you here. Today is day 23 of our 30-day challenge. And the challenge is simple. I'm here in my apartment here in Bangkok working from home, and I'm ordering a different cuisine or different regional food or from a different country every single day for 30 days. So now we're on day 23. I can't believe we've already done 22 days. That is the 23rd day. But if you're new, please like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, share this video with your friends. Come here, comment, tell me what you think of my international lunch every day. Join in, eat with me. Just comment and come hang out. And then I will be going through each of these dishes in front of me, which today is Spanish food, Spanish tapas food from a restaurant called Barcelona Gaudi here in Bangkok, Thailand. And if you think it looks good, hit me up in the comments and tell me what you think. But just to tell you a little bit about today's episode, I will be going through each dish. I'm just kind of explaining what I have. I'll be making a little drink to go with it, a little bit of something in this little pitcher, a little sangria to go with it, and then I will be giving my rating at the end. So please stick around to the end for my rating on everything, and enjoy the Spanish food with me. And don't forget to click the bell for notifications so you know every time I'm going live, which is 1 p.m. Bangkok time every day until the 30-day challenge is over. Maybe there'll be a recap video, who knows? Maybe there'll be 31 days, but so click the bell for notifications and tune in to 30 Cuisines in 30 Days. Okay, so let me just tell you what I've ordered from Barcelona Gaudi today. It's a little Spanish restaurant here in downtown Bangkok, and I ordered a little selection of tapas. So I decided not to go for the massive paella. I mean, it sounds really good, but it's just a lunch for one person. I don't know, it's a bit over the budget, if you know what I mean. So let me just tell you what I have here. We have some garlic prawns, gambas, as you might know them in Spanish. Garlic prawns, looks really good. We have a grilled feta plate here with some yummy like olive oil just drenched in there, and tomatoes and grilled peppers. Looks really good. Some roasted chilies in there, looks spicy. And then we have Spanish omelette, also known as Spanish tortilla, which is a potato and egg kind of omelette, and comes with some toasted bread with a little smattering of tomato on top, which looks like a really yummy tomatoey garlic kind of concoction there. Okay, so those are my dishes. Oh, and then of course came with some extra free bread right over there. Looks good. Fresh bread to sop up all that yummy, oily goodness. And then over here, I have my little chopping board full of fruit and a pitcher and some wine and some rum and a lot of stuff to make like a nice fruity sangria drink to go with this food. So we have some yummy dishes. Looks like it's filled with yummy, oily olive oil goodness, which I love. I'm gonna go really good with that bread. And then we're gonna make the sangria. Maybe I'll start with whipping up this sangria so I can have it with the rest of my meal. What do you guys think? Start with the sangria? Okay, let me just shift over a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. My pitcher, wine here. Now, when you're making sangria, there are so many different recipes online for sangria, but I think the major components are wine. Obviously, you're making the traditional red sangria, red wine, and you want that dry Spanish wine, a Rioja something. I didn't have that, so I have whatever I had in the kitchen. It's an Italian wine. I think it'll do though. It's an Italian wine, Notte Nere Syrah. Probably not really the best choice, but I think it'll be fine. You know, the thing with sangria is it's really forgiving, so you kind of mix whatever you want in there. So yeah, and then the next ingredient is fruit and fruit juice. So today I have oranges and cherries in my tiny little IKEA cutting board, but I pre-chopped some up. You can also put in apples, pear, lemons. You basically want some hard fruits that are going to absorb that yummy wine. So I was going to put in mango. I was thinking about mangoes, but they kind of dissolve. They're mushy. And I didn't want to get it all like, you know, bits of mango everywhere. Okay, so your red wine, your fruit, your juice of the fruit too. You want to add in orange juice. Then you want a rum or brandy or some kind of liqueur. I guess you could put in like a triple sec, Cointreau, like those orangey flavored ones. But the closest thing I have is my trusty bottle of Bacardi, which did make an appearance earlier for when I was making a hurricane cocktail. Rainer Lim says, I tune in mostly for the day drinking. Day drinking is back, and it is in full force right now because I have like this huge bottle of wine. Rum to go with it. So yeah, that's why sangria is actually pretty potent. It's more potent than just normal wine because you're mixing a liquor with your wine. And then the other thing is something to just sweeten it up. So I just mixed a simple syrup mixture here, which is supposed to be 1-to-1 sugar to water. It's a little more water on the watery side. I accidentally kind of added a bit more water. But the thing with sangria is you can just mix it up and then see how it tastes and then adjust. So, okay, first things first, for the sangria, I'm going to mix in the fruit and the sugar, and I'm going to muddle it together in this pitcher. So let's just add in our fruit. Ooh, these oranges are very juicy. Juice is going everywhere. So I just used the fruit that I have in the fridge and try to get out all the seeds if you can. You don't want too many seeds in your, oh, I see some more seeds. Cut them out. Okay, you don't want to get too many seeds in there, but you want to leave the rind on. So wash your fruit and then leave the peel. If you're using apples or the rind of the lemon or orange juice, leave it on there. Okay, that's just one orange and about like 5 or 6 cherries. That should do me. I'm just gonna make half a bottle. I'm not gonna use the entire bottle of wine today, so you could use the whole bottle if you want. Let's see, just kind of, I'm using like a teaspoon here. 3. I was thinking just like maybe 3 tablespoons of this syrup would be good, so I just put in 6 teaspoons. Let's try it out. And I was going to use my mortar and pestle of the somtam to muddle because it's a really good like muddler, but it smells like somtam because it's been used for somtam a lot. So I don't really have a muddler, but I'm just going to use a spoon to kind of mix together the sugar and kind of like mush it down a little bit carefully because it's a metal spoon instead of a wooden spoon or muddler. So I'm just going to carefully kind of mix it all together, mixing it. So now the sugar and the fruit is mixed together. Okay, and I'm going to add in the fruit juice and the alcohol. So I have pre-squeezed some oranges here. I am so on top of things. I cannot believe this. But I have pre-squeezed enough there. So I think that's pretty much like half a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup pour half a bottle of wine, but you can kind of wing it depending on what flavors you like. But if you look up any recipe, they'll give you, the exact measurements. So I'm kind of basing this off of one I just found at minimalistbaker.com, but I'm just doing my little spin on it. Okay, so now it's just a lot of juice and little sugar syrup in there and fruit in there, and looks really healthy, kind of. But it's about to get a little bit spiked. Okay, so how much rum do you want to put in? I don't think you really need that much. Let's see, if you're using a whole bottle of wine, you might use a 1/3 cup of brandy or rum or whatever you're using. But I am using half a bottle of wine, so I'm going to use half of that. So, I mean, cups are like an American kind of measurement system, and it's really annoying to think of it in milliliters, which is what we're kind of used to. But I happen to have my cups here to measure. So this is a 1/3 cup, and I'm just measuring half of that for the Bacardi. Ooh, ooh, potent. That is potent. Okay. Now, this is the beginnings of the sangria, you guys. There's cherries, there's oranges, there's orange juice, there's sugar syrup, and there's rum. Ooh, looks good. Smells good. Smells really strong. I hope this is going to go well with my tapas, my Spanish tapas for today. Okay, so now I'm going to dump in the rest of the wine, about half a bottle of wine. Yeah, and then I'm going to taste it, and I'm going to see what is needed. Okay, pouring it in. I hope this tastes good, otherwise I'm going to have to drink it all by myself. Okay, that's about, it's not really half a bottle, a little bit more. What about half a bottle? A little bit more. Okay. Yeah, so that's about half of the bottle. And now it's a nice big picture of, ooh, it looks really good. It's starting to look like your traditional sangria. Yeah, it looks very fruity and festive. And the last ingredient is to, well, first I'm going to taste it, and then I'm going to add ice and stir to give it one more stir. So let me just get a spoon to taste the sangria. Okay, that's pretty good. I think it could do with a little bit more sweetness. It doesn't really have that like sweet sangria taste, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more of this. I think it's because I watered down my simple syrup. Let's add a little bit more of that. And let's see. Stir it back up. Okay. Now let's try another little bit. Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay, then the last step is I'm going to add, I have a bowl of ice cubes here. I have these large ice cubes. Giant ice cubes. So I have these giant ice cube trays, which actually come in handy because they don't melt that fast. Okay, giant ice cubes. Let's mix it around again. Again, if you have apples, that's a really good ingredient here. I just had oranges and cherries, so that's what I'm sticking in here. Okay. Sangria is done. What do you guys think? Looks pretty good, right? You could add more fruit if you like. Important to leave the rind on the fruit, leave the peel on the fruit. I think that gives it that zest, the flavor from the zest, and also keeps the fruit intact. You don't want it to like mush out too much. Okay, so if you know, sangria is served in a wine glass because it is wine. Whew. going to my head already, just a couple sips. And so now I'm gonna pour a little for myself to have with my meal. And you can definitely get that fruit in there. You wanna have some fruit in your cup to make it look extra festive and nice. Oops, a little bit more fruit. Okay, I'll fill that cup up. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Cheers. This is my little sangria recipe made live on 30 Cuisines, 30 Days. Let's take another sip, shall we, and see how it is in the glass? Okay, the ice cubes had a little time to cool it down, so it's nice and cool. Then here it'll cool it down even more, and like it'll just be great to share with everyone to encourage day drinking, okay? I hope everyone is of legal drinking age watching this. Okay, so now we have our sangria. I'm gonna love sipping on this throughout the entire lunch today, and I am ready to indulge in this little tapas feast in front of me from Barcelona Gaudi. Okay, so let me bring everything back here, and let's just go through what we have today for lunch and taste it all and eat it. That's what we do here at 30 Cuisines, 30 Days. Okay, right before I just dig in, just a quick reminder, please click the bell for notifications, subscribe, like Coconuts TV, share our videos, follow along with this show. We're on day 23, so we just have about a week left. So yeah, comment, tell me what I should eat. What did I miss out on? What should I try? I don't know, anything. Okay, so let me just go ahead and start the countdown of what I am eating. So, okay, we'll skip the free bread for now, but let's start with some grilled feta. Ooh, this looks really good. Okay, so just Barcelona Gaudi, it's not only tapas, they have a lot of stuff there. They have different options of paella, they have some Spanish desserts, I think, Spanish appetizers, lots of cold cuts, cheese. So yeah, I just decided to go with tapas, and which, if you know, is just small dishes, a bunch of small dishes where you try many different things. And usually if you're eating tapas with your friends, it's kind of like spread out in front of you, all these little dishes, and you're trying, you know, different things. There's meat, there's vegetarian versions, there's seafood. So today I actually have a vegetarian meal with prawns, so kind of pescatarian. Okay. And there's, of course, the Coconuts TV factoids being dropped right along the bottom here. So it's any free portion of food, generally served small with any drink ordered. Okay, so I ordered my sangria and I got this free. Let's just imagine I'm in a cafe in Barcelona, sitting outdoors. I ordered a pitcher of sangria to myself because that sounds heavenly, and I got all this free food. Oh, thank you. Muchas gracias. Okay, so let's start with this grilled feta with kind of roasted, looks like roasted grilled peppers, cherry tomatoes, a sprinkling of like green onions or spring onions on top, and most interesting of all, some really potent looking roasted dried chilies sprinkled throughout. Okay. So let's try a little bit of feta. This Mediterranean cuisine is just coming back again and again. We had Mediterranean Day, we had Italian, now we're having Spanish. And there's kind of some crossover there with those Mediterranean cuisines, but it's all yummy. Okay, so I'm gonna have a bite of feta with tomato and grilled pepper, and it's just swimming in this yummy, healthy, good for you fats, olive oil. I think this is gonna go nicely with the bread, but let's try a bite. Okay. I was afraid it's gonna be really spicy because I saw all these chili peppers, but I think if you don't directly eat the chili, It's not so bad, but they did give it a little bit of spice. It's really tasty with the feta giving like a crumbly, salty, like a real crumbly, salty flavor. Yeah, feta cheese, and it's grilled, so like a little bit of, yeah, it's kind of like, well, I guess it kind of cooled down a little bit, but it's grilled, so the texture is a little bit like, yeah, not as crumbly. It's kind of like almost cooked a little bit. Really interesting, and I think it's gonna be good with a bite of bread. So let's try some feta on here with tomato and pepper and on some bread. Really yummy. And, the bread is like just a yummy plain white baguette type of bread. Goes really well with the strong flavors of the feta. Soft, crispy on the outside. I think it's like really good for dipping in this olive oil. And just tear it apart. Just coated in olive oil. This is what I love about this type of cuisine, Spanish or also Mediterranean. Yummy olive oil. Made a bit of a mess with olive oil, but all good. So good. Okay. I'll be saving my rating for the end of the show, but yummy. Okay, next up in front of me, we have another tapas dish, grilled prawns. Gambas is prawns in Spanish, I believe. And the dish just looks really, really garlicky. A lot of chili and garlic, which I'm all about that. So that's why I wanted to try their version. I should say I haven't tried this before either from this restaurant. So yeah, looking forward to this bite. Okay, I'm just gonna have an entire prawn just drenched in oil, in like a really fiery red chili oil with a bunch of pieces of garlic on it. If you could see, this is my first bite. It's gonna be really garlicky and I think really good. Okay, let's try it. Very tasty. Prawns cook nicely. The feta dish, it didn't really have much salt except for the feta itself, but this one, it's a little saltier. I think the prawns, you know, are seasoned really well, and the garlic is just yummy. It's like a roasted garlic flavor. I would definitely eat the dried chilies in there too. I'm gonna just take one bite with a dried chili piece because I think I just love that dried chili flavor. It's so good, even though it's like kind of killer. Sometimes they're really spicy. Let's try a piece. It has a dried chili on it. Ooh, 2 stays is gambas al ajillo. Ajillo? Gambas and chili garlic. It's good. Okay, let's try a piece. Chili oil just dripping down my face. Okay, the chili, dried chili is really spicy. When you bite into it, it's like, that is fire, but it's so, so good. Dried chili, not playing around. I think that's my cue to have a sip of sangria. Save the bread for sopping that up. To Deb Tuesday says, so true. You just want to sop up every little grain of garlic, every little bit of oil with this bread. Oh, yummy. Sangria is like a nice, cooling, refreshing, sweet, fruity little taste after a spicy bite of prawns. Whew. Okay, let's try dipping a little piece of bread into the chili oil garlic prawns. I feel like I want to get really good at cooking after this show because I've just been eating so many good dishes for a month. And like, I just want to learn how to make them myself. I think that'll be one interesting result of this show. Okay, piece of bread. That's good. I mean, you can't beat like the bite of the actual prawn with the garlic, but bread with the oil is like spicy, olive oil taste, a little salty to season up the bread. Okay, let's move on to our next dish, our final dish, which is something that's quite, I would say, synonymous with Spanish cuisine and tapas, which is Spanish tortilla. So in Spain, you could get these like in a sandwich, a very typical street food kind of thing. And it's like an omelette with chunks of potatoes in it. And that reminds me, there's one other really typical like tapas dish called potatoes. Is it patatas bravas or something? But it's like just little chunks of roasted tomato, like potato, and you dip it in like mayo or something. And that's also like a really common tapas with sangria, which makes sense because it's just potatoes. So you'd get it free, or you order like, a drink. They'd give you little potatoes with mayonnaise, and it's so yummy. But yeah, look at this nice free tapas I got. What a generous portion for free. Just kidding. Okay, let's take a bite of the omelet part. So it's just an omelet with potatoes in there, and it doesn't look like it's super seasoned, or don't really see any pepper or any seasonings in there. Let's see what the flavor is like. Tasty. I think it's really tasty because of the potatoes in there. So I'm sure it's seasoned with a bit of salt to bring out the flavor. But the potatoes, the chunks of potatoes, are just really like flavorful somehow. Oh, Dub Too Steady says, yes, patatas bravas. Okay, so my brain was working correctly on one name somehow. Yeah, so these chunks of potatoes, it's like they're boiled potatoes, but they're very flavorful. Like maybe they're seasoned while they're like right after they're boiled, maybe they're like tossed in something like a salted kind of olive oil or something. And I think one thing I read, speaking of cooking, is that when you're making a potato salad or something with boiled potatoes where you want them to be flavorful, the trick is to toss them in the sauce while they're still hot. So there you go. Maybe that was the case here. So it's almost more potato than egg. So it doesn't really feel like an omelet. Oh, I think there's bits of onion in there too. We have bits of onion, that onion flavor. Yeah, it feels like more potato than egg. It's like not a ton of egg. Doesn't feel too eggy, but it's really tasty. Nice little respite from the spiciness that I just experienced a few minutes ago. And let's try a little bit of the bread with the yummy tomato topping. Looks really good. Okay. Smells tomatoey. It's like a nice olive oil flavor. So it's like an olive oil on the bread. It's like a little smattering of tomato, almost like a paste, but you can tell it's from fresh tomatoes. It's not like a paste from a can. And there's like some tomato seeds. If you need more evidence that this is from fresh vegetables. And the olive oil taste is just so good. It's like something about the olive oil, like Spanish olive oil. So good. Okay, let me take one more bite of this. Sip of sangria. Spanish omelette is one of the most widely available dishes. It's also prepared in some Spanish-speaking countries. Okay. Bread is yum. I'm feeling pretty good about myself for making this sangria. Definitely a really good accompaniment for this meal. Let me just try, my last little combo is trying the bread with the tomatoes and the tortilla or Spanish omelet together as one, because they did come together as in one dish. Okay, let's go for it. I think it's gonna be really good together. Yeah, it goes well. Tangy bit of tomato. Goes really well with the potato. An egg with bread is just like a classic combo. I honestly feel like I can't really have eggs if I'm not having bread with them. It just feels weird. You know, like if you're having scrambled eggs or poached eggs, or, you know, you just need bread with it, or rice. If you're having more like, you know, an egg with rice and Thai style. Yeah, so I feel like egg, you just need a carb with it. It like brings out the flavor in such a good way. You can't just have it on its own. But then again, this is already egg with potato, so it's kind of like egg and a carb. Okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna recap my dishes for today and give my rating to everything, and then that's day 23 in the bag. Okay, so this is 30 Cuisines in 30 Days, and if you're just tuning in, you're with me, Tara from Coconuts. Great to be with you here on day 23 of our journey through the cuisines that are available here in Bangkok, which we're discovering is a lot. There's a lot more than 30 cuisines available here. So yeah, if you don't know yet, this is our little social experiment, food experiment challenge, live show premiere format. We have a few other ones though, so watch those too. Where I order different foods from different cuisines every single day for 30 days. So I'm gonna see if I can get 30 days of totally different cuisines under my belt, my rapidly expanding belt, in 30 days. And I think we're gonna make it, because this is day 23. We've had so many different good foods. We're having Spanish food today, Spanish tapas to be specific. And I made a sangria to go with it. And it's all from Barcelona Gaudi, or Barcelona Gaudi, I should say, right here in Bangkok, in downtown Sukhumvit. And well, what did I order today? Today I ordered grilled feta, and it came in a nice, generous serving of olive oil with roasted peppers, tomatoes, little sprinkling of spring onions on top, and some roasted chilies. So my rating for this dish, I think I'm gonna have to give this, I really liked each individual ingredient, definitely fresh, yummy. The flavor, yeah, the feta was really the star of the show, of course, and the rest is just kind of there to like help it along. Goes really well with the bread. I think I'm gonna give it like a 3.5 out of 5, because yeah, it's just really tasty. It's really good with all these other things. But yeah, on its own, it's just like a little tapas, you know, maybe not the star of the show, like this next dish, which I really, really loved. Grilled prawns, gambas al ajillo. Too dumb, too steady. Where are you? I can't remember what it's called. Okay, but this was superb, really delicious. The garlic is ample serving of garlic in there. Um, Prawns are fresh and tasty. Um, yeah, just the flavors just go perfectly together. You get those real like Spanish kind of tastes, I guess, like with the oils and then like a seafood mixed with garlic. Yeah, they had other interesting seafood dishes on the menu. Octopus, which is a big dish in Spain. Um, yeah, I think I'm giving this. Is it a 4.5 out of 5? I feel like it's close to a 5. Really, it's like a 4.75. I don't really know how I could improve upon it. It's really yummy. Gambos al ajillo. Thank you. Okay, too dumb, too steady there with the proper ways to say things or how to say the names in Spanish. Thank you. Yeah, I think it's like a 4.5, maybe even 5, really. It's really, really good. Okay, this Spanish tortilla or Spanish omelette was also very yummy. It's not as flavorful in a way. It's not like spicy, garlicky. It's pretty plain, but tasty though. And this is like a very traditional, typical Spanish food you would eat in Spain. Walking around the city in Madrid, you might grab a sandwich, two pieces of bread with this in between, maybe have some tomato paste on it. So that's why I wanted to try it here. And I think they really got the flavors down. Like you can tell these people know their Spanish food. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. Yeah, so I think overall, and the bread is definitely really good. I mean, nothing bad about this bread. I guess that's a 4 out of 5 too. So overall, I think it's like a 4.5 out of 5, just because this is like so good. Yummy. And my own sangria. Let's see, how did I do? I didn't have all the ingredients as usual. This is like a test kitchen where I'm just trying things. It came out okay. I probably could have added more fruit because it's a little sparse on the fruit. Usually you want like little chunks of like lots of apples and stuff like that, but I didn't have any. I did not really have a dry Rioja or Spanish wine either, so I just used this Italian Syrah, which is not really that dry, I would say. Probably should have tasted it on its own. What's in the sangria? Too dumb, too steady is asking. Well, if you missed the sangria part, let me just tell you what I put in here. So I started with chunks of apple. Oh no, sorry, not apple. I started with chunks of orange and cherry. Just what I had in the fridge, just whatever fruit I had in the fridge that would go with this. So orange and cherry chunks with the skin and peel on. Then I muddled in some simple sugar for some sweetness. And then I added some fresh squeezed orange juice. And then I added some rum. I added some, you could add brandy or Cointreau triple sec. I added this because that's all I had around. Yeah, and then I added, is that it? Yeah, then I added the wine. And then I mixed it all together, and then I added ice. And then I put it in my glass. And the rest is history. That is the sangria. And you can kind of figure out those proportions, I think. If you've had a lot of sangria in your life, you'll be fine with those proportions. And you can add, adjust. Some people add like a sparkling, something sparkling like a soda or something to it to get like a fizzy sangria. So that's one thing I kind of read about in my research of what recipe to use. So I guess my rating for sangria overall, it's like a 3.5. I mean, I can't rate myself too highly because I kind of threw it all together. I think if I made this many more times, I would definitely perfect the recipe. yeah, I think probably using a dry Spanish wine, a Rioja or something would be really the key to a good sangria. And then just experimenting with different types of fruit juice, different liquors. But you know what? This is going to be drunk no matter what. And by that, I mean the wine is going to be drunk by me, not I'm going to be drunk. Okay. To Deb Too Steady says, there's no sangria rules. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Don't let them tell you what you can't and can't put in sangria. You can even make a white sangria with white wine. So that would be yummy. Okay, so overall, yeah, I gave my rating overall as like 4.5 for Barcelona Gaudi. Really yummy, good Spanish food in the downtown heart of Bangkok. If you feel like transporting your taste buds to the sunny streets of Madrid, but you're stuck here in Bangkok in your apartment, then you know what to do. Mix up some sangria, order a couple of tapas dishes. Yummy. Okay, so this was day 23 of 30 cuisines in 30 days. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We really, really appreciate it. Please comment, tell me what you think of the show, anything. Comment, share, like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. We appreciate everything. Thank you so much. And tomorrow we're going to go not too far from Spain, actually. We're going to Greece. So check that out tomorrow, same time, 1 p.m. Bangkok time, 2 p.m. if you're in Singapore. See you then. Bye. Cheers.